Welcome back to another edition of the Sammooo Show. We continue to talk sports, and of course, that is the NCAA Tournament. I am your co-host Dave Schultz, along with the Sammooo, Sam Schultz. That was some awesome college basketball in the first 4 days of the NCAA Tournament, Sam.
Yeah, it was. It was very entertaining. Half of the games I was in school, but I managed to watch a few
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and well the teacher let us, but like the night
Okay.
games were exciting too.
Yeah. Do we have any buzzer beaters? Were there any last second victories? I'm not sure that there were, but obviously, oh well, I guess Furman and Virginia were. Furman and
Yeah,
Virginia was, right?
that was a buzzer
Basically.
beater.
Not your typical buzzer beater where Virginia's just throwing the ball away and Furman hits the last second three. So
Yeah,
that's a buzzer beater. All
I'd
right.
say
So what
so.
do you think was the biggest upset of the first weekend of the tournament?
Farley Dickinson.
That was really impressive by Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm not sure what Purdue was trying to do. How you can't get the ball to the 7'4" center, I do not know.
And every time they had the ball, they were scared to shoot. They didn't shoot.
Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue.
Yeah, they
They were
struggled. A
scared.
lot of people are saying that Purdue's got freshman guards, whereas
Mm,
Fairleigh Dickinson has 4 and 5 year guards. So
Yeah.
a situation there. But for me, the way it went down, I want to give Fairleigh Dickinson a lot of credit, but I'm also going to criticize Purdue and Matt Painter to not be
Yeah.
able to figure out on how to combat what they were doing. We're not talking about like a 2 or 3 or 4 minute cold spell. They went on a cold spell for like half of the second half.
Yeah.
For like 9 minutes. You got to figure it out, don't you?
Yeah, it was really bad. It's the smallest team in the country for D1 basketball out of
Like,
versus the tallest, one of the tallest players in basketball history.
yes, and yeah, it was basically the biggest team against the smallest team, and in this case, the smallest team won. But what about like a Virginia? Because my contention with Virginia is the way they play. There's very
Mm,
little room for error.
yeah.
That they're not going to put up a whole lot of points, and they play such good defense.
Mm,
But if they're scoring 50 or 60 points, the other team is always going to be in it. And if you
yeah.
make one or two mistakes at the end of the ball game, not making free throws, turning the ball over, not calling timeout, we see what happens. And now it's happened a couple of times, right? They were the first team to lose to a number 1 seed or to a number
Yeah.
16 seed. Now they're out again as a 4 seed. They just play a brand of basketball that you make a few shots and get a few stops. It's going to be. It is easy to beat a Virginia
Yeah.
basketball. Easy is not the right word.
Mm,
Virginia puts themselves in a spot where they're beatable. Is more along the lines of what I'm saying.
yeah. I don't know what Clark was thinking when he had the ball. They had a timeout.
That's even makes it even worse, right?
I don't know why he threw the ball. I guess
Was he
he.
just trying to throw it high up into the air?
What was the score?
Well, they were up by 2, right?
2. Yeah. Yeah, they're up 2. I don't know why he threw the ball. There's a Furman player in the other side of the court, basically. I don't know.
Right. Even
Maybe
the
he
Furman
got
player.
confused. I don't know.
Yeah, even the Furman player came into the locker room and said he just threw it away.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's go down the brackets. We'll start in the South. The number 1 seed, Alabama. They've looked very good against A&M Corpus Christi. Took them a little bit of time to go against Maryland. I still think
Yeah.
Alabama is favored to win this tournament. What do you think, Sammo?
Well, 2 of my teams are out in the Final Four. Not 2
Yeah, that
of
wasn't
my
a
teams,
question.
but
We'll get to that.
yeah. Anyways, I think Houston has the best chance.
You picked Houston to beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you still
But
have that going.
yeah.
I still like the way Alabama is playing. They will go up against San Diego State, another team that's really tough to play Furman looked really good against Virginia and couldn't do anything offensively against San Diego State. Alabama played some really good defense against Maryland, especially in the second half. And we'll see what happened. Well, especially in the first half, but early in the second half as well. On the bottom portion, coming to you, Sammo, actually. So Alabama and San Diego State are playing, 6:30 on Friday. And then you have Creighton and Princeton. I think this is one of the bigger surprises. I know that Fairleigh Dickinson was, a big upset, but it's one thing to upset Missouri. It's another thing to blow them out, and Princeton did, 78-63. That game was not close for most of the second half. It was shocking.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what the game plan was, but I guess Missouri, they got the bare hand.
Well, Princeton did. Yeah, I don't know what Missouri's plan was, but yeah, Princeton.
Yeah, not Missouri. I don't know what Missouri was thinking.
I mean, they got out. Here's the thing, right? It's one thing because Princeton does all those, backcourt cuts and everything like that. It's one thing to get out schemed. It appeared to me Princeton out athleted Missouri, and that's not what is supposed to happen. It's one thing when these lower seeds, knock down a bunch of threes and make you chase them around for 28 seconds. But Princeton was missing a bunch of shots and then chasing down the offensive rebound.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
That was not good. All right, you are listening to and watching the Sammooo Show featuring myself, Dave Schultz, and my nephew, the Sammooo, Sam Schultz. One of the better games, let's go down to the East. I think one of the better games, I don't think you saw it unless, you stayed up past your bedtime. FAU and Fairleigh Dickinson. Did you see that game? FAU takes down Fairleigh Dickinson 78-70. I thought that was one of the better games in the entire tournament. FDU did not it got away from FDU in about the last two and a half minutes of the game, maybe the last 5. But it was really close for like 35, maybe even 38 minutes, and it just got away from them. Too many turnovers and a couple of fast breaks, and all of a sudden, 3 and 5 point game got to 10 very quickly.
Yeah, I watched a few minutes of the second half. When I watched, they went on like a 7-0 run or something.
Which one?
Not Fairleigh Dickinson.
So FAU, Florida Atlantic.
FAU.
Okay.
But when I woke up this morning, I saw a highlight that showed one of the FAU players doing a 360 dunk.
That was after that was after it was over. I mean, that was after the game was decided, yeah.
That was pretty dumb, though.
Kind of showing off. It is what it is.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to make it.
Well, he missed.
Yeah, he missed.
Oh, ouch.
360 windmill miss.
Yeah. Now, Tennessee, they're now facing a 9 seed, right? I mean, Tennessee gets past my Raging Cajuns, barely survives, right, by 3. That game could have gone either way. And if you saw Tennessee fans, they were like, whew, right?
Yeah.
But then they really handled Duke. They did the same thing to Duke that they did to the Cajuns. They went on like an 11 or 13-0 run, and Duke came back at the beginning of the second half, made it like a 2-point game, but that was as close as Duke got, and Tennessee was in control of that ball game. Again, Tennessee, another team that plays really tough defense.
I haven't watched much SEC basketball, but from what you say, SEC basketball is very physical. They like to get down the court very quick.
Tennessee is very physical, yeah.
Yeah. They have like one of the tallest teams.
They have a big team, but they have a lot of size inside, and they're just relentless defensively. They play really good defense. I thought Duke would hit a couple of 3-pointers and pull away because, again, you don't need a lot of points to beat Tennessee, but they couldn't slow down Tennessee in the second half, and the Vols defense was really good. They're going up against Florida Atlantic. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a close ball game, but Florida Atlantic is really good. So we shall see. Again, you don't need a whole lot of points to get past Tennessee, but Tennessee, again, played better against Duke than they did against the Cajuns. Odd. Another one of the upsets, Kentucky beat Providence, but then had issues with Kansas State. I'm sure this didn't go over too well in your school today. A couple of guys on Kentucky combined to go two. But who was it with? Yeah, you had a couple of good players, right? Oscar Shibwe had a really good ball game, and was it Cason Wallace had a good ball game?
Yeah.
They
He had a pretty
combined,
good game.
they combined for 46 of the Wildcats' 69 points. And so you got Toppin 1 for 7, and was it Austin Reeves 1 for 15? Antonio Reeves 1 for 15. He went 1 for 10 from 3. It is tough to overcome.
Yeah.
Two of your starters going 2 for 22. They out rebounded Kansas State by a wide margin, 44-25. Kansas State hit a bunch of threes, late, but they hit a total of 5 threes to Kentucky's 4 threes. That's it. Even the free throws were not that big a difference, 18-13, and they both missed 4, but those two guys they picked the wrong time to have bad ball games. What were Kentucky Wildcats fans saying today following the loss on Sunday?
They were at my school. They were blaming the refs.
Blaming the refs, saying what?
Saying that should have been a jump ball at the end.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean,
it was in the corner.
It can go either
right?
way.
Well, all right. I can see that. I mean, there was one play. I don't know if it was in that game. Someone took the ball away from somebody, and they called a jump ball. Usually, back in my day, Sam, usually it's 3 seconds, right? You got to have possession for 3 seconds. But I think they're a little quick with the whistle because it's physical and they don't want flying elbows. But I think maybe it was in that Kentucky game. Maybe it was Shibwe did it, or maybe it was Kansas State. They just took the ball away, right? It was like someone was, inside the post and someone just swiped it away from him and they called a jump ball. This was like he had possession and then 1 second later, the other team had possession and they called a jump ball. I don't remember if that was a Kentucky game, but it happened fast. So, yeah. So did you tell them that, when you get guys going 2 for 22, don't blame the refs?
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I said, make your shots.
Right. Did you wear a Louisville shirt and tie today?
No.
It
was very beautiful to see them sad, though.
Not a Kentucky fan at all. All right, let's continue down with the brackets. You're listening to the Sammooo Show with Sam Schultz. I am his uncle, Uncle D, Dave Schultz. On the other side, you do have Michigan State taking down Marquette. That was a close ball game. Michigan State, again, made some threes late. So you do have Michigan State going up against Kansas State. That'll be interesting. And they play the winner of Tennessee and FAU. I mean, Tennessee, man, I think any of those teams, I don't know if any of those teams can win the championship, but I think any of those teams can get to the Final Four. I happen to have Kansas State.
You have Kansas State?
I picked Kansas State to go to the Final Four from the beginning. So that gives me 3 of my 4 Final Four teams.
Who's their small point guard, that 5'9" point guard?
Off the top of my head, I do not know. I know Keontae Johnson from Florida.
Marquise Noel.
Okay.
He went insane.
Yeah, he had a big ball game.
27 points.
Yeah.
Couldn't miss.
And they also, I think, hit some threes towards the end of the ball game.
Yeah. That was basically the nail to the coffin.
I don't think they played particularly well. Yeah, Kansas State hit some threes at the end of the ball game. Yeah, so they hit one more 3. Okay. All right, so who did you have coming out of that?
Who did I have?
Did you have Purdue?
Yeah, I had Purdue.
Okay. So who do you think is coming out of it now? You get FAU, Tennessee, Kansas State, or Michigan State?
Kansas State.
All right. Going with the Wildcats. All right.
Although,
let's go to no.
Michigan State is on a hot run.
What's that?
Michigan State's on a hot run.
You're taking Michigan State.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Depends. I'm
On
not
what?
sure. It's between those two.
They're playing each other.
I know, but like, why
So the
can't just
winner of
one
that game
win?
is moving on.
I don't know anymore. It's such a confusing season.
Pick a team.
Kansas State.
Okay. All right. Let's go over to the other side of the bracket. We'll go to the Midwest. Houston takes care of Auburn, or maybe more. It was like Auburn taking care of Auburn, Sammooo. They had a 10-point lead that was gone in about 4.5 minutes, and they could not hit a shot in the second half. They hit 2 shots in the second half. It was as ugly game as I think I've seen Auburn play, right? Auburn gave Alabama not one, but 2 tough battles, and they just, I don't know if they wilted or what the case was, but again, I'm a big Bruce Pearl fan. Somewhere along the way, you got to get guys to make easy shots just to, we need to get a layup or something along those lines, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with them. I thought they were going to be like the top dog, not like the top dogs, but like not like exiting the tournament so quickly.
Well, I mean, I thought Houston would win that ball game. I have Houston in the Final Four, but I thought Auburn would give them a game, and they just didn't. And the embarrassing part about that is, it was in Birmingham, so that's basically a home game for Auburn. And Marcus Sasser was in foul trouble. Houston went on their big run with Sasser on the bench. He wasn't even playing. He came in like at the 3.5 minute mark of the game. It was already over.
I mean, 7 to 8 turnovers.
They just played. They played really poorly. Let's see what they had here. They shot a total of 7. Oh no. Auburn was 20 of 53, but I think they only had 2 shots in the second half. Well, they scored 23 in the second half. Maybe they started like 2 for 22.
That's not good.
They only scored 23 points in the second half. They also missed a bunch of free throws.
Yeah, 19 for 36.
19 for 36 isn't going to help. Turnovers isn't bad. 8 turnovers in a game isn't bad. Rebounding was edge of Houston. Houston shot it a little bit better, but the free throws and the poor shooting by Auburn was a thing. So Houston advances.
Mm-hmm. I had
they're taking on Miami. I didn't see any of that game. Jim Larrañaga does a really good job. Miami takes down Indiana. It wasn't very close. Let me see if I picked that game. I did not. I picked, in fact, I had Drake beating Miami. Ouch. You had Miami and Indiana. You picked Indiana. So we both picked Indiana. All right. So I'm not going to count Miami out. They're a good team. Houston's really good. It should be a good basketball game. On the other side, Xavier and Sean Miller beats his alma mater Pitt, 84-73. They will take on Texas, who survives Penn State. Penn State was winning that ball game. Texas goes on a flurry to win it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State coach may become the Notre Dame coach. We'll see. So you do have, it's not quite chalk because Indiana lost, but you do have the 1, 2, 3, and 5th seeds in the Midwest. I picked Houston to come out of the Midwest. I'm sticking with the Cougars. Sammooo?
I am sticking with the Cougars.
All right. You got them winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If there's any injuries, any more big injuries, then that might be it.
That may be trouble. No, but Sasser seems to be okay. All right. In the West, you do have Arkansas upsetting Kansas. They're taking on UConn. UConn hammered St. Mary's 70-55. Danny Hurley's doing a really good job with UConn. So it's Arkansas and UConn. Gonzaga hangs on to defeat TCU. That was late Sunday night. And so you have Gonzaga and UCLA. UCLA survives Northwestern. So you get that 1 seed is knocked off Kansas. I think that was coaching as well. I think we see the difference between Norm Roberts, who was not a successful head coach, and Bill Self, who is, recovering from basically heart surgery. I think you saw the difference there. But whereas you don't have the number 1 seed in Kansas, but you got the 2, 3, and 4 seeds plus Arkansas. And for all intents and purposes, Arkansas is probably a number, could be a number, not 1 seed, but like a 4, 5, or 6 seed. So they're pretty good. I don't know who I'm taking out of this one, Sammo. I might go Gonzaga. Because Kansas was the team that I had coming out of it. I'm going to go the Zags, taking down UCLA and defeating the winner of UConn, Arkansas. You?
I have UCLA winning, but my bracket says they come out of the West beating UCLA. Kansas does.
Oh, okay. So you have Kansas taking on UCLA. Let me see what I had.
Yeah.
I had Kansas beating Gonzaga. All right. I had Kansas beating Gonzaga. So I'm going to take the Zags. All right. Let's see what yours was. Yeah, you got UCLA beating Kansas. So you're going to take UCLA?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I filled out a couple of different brackets, but we're going with the one I did on ESPN, the one we put on Facebook before the tournament. Well, I'm not sure if it was before the tournament started, but these were done before the tournament started. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to enter, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. I still have Alabama, Houston, Kansas. I'm sorry. Alabama, Houston, Kansas State. Kansas lost. The Sammooo, he had Alabama, Marquette. Marquette's done. And Houston and Kansas done. He still has a chance to have the championship game as Alabama and Houston, and he does pick the Cougars because it's very confusing. Everyone says, and I'm sure my bracket is along those lines, but the brackets are busted. But I still got 3 of my 4 Final Four teams, Sammo. It's not that busted.
I have 2, which is actually very shocking for this year.
But here's the thing. You still have the championship game, and you still have the champion.
I do.
That's the key, right?
I do.
Yeah. Do we have plans to go to the Sweet 16 since the Sweet 16 is coming to the Sammooo?
I don't believe so.
Oh, well, that's disappointing.
If you can get Dad to say yes.
If you can check SeatGeek.com, you might find some affordable tickets. They are not a sponsor of the show.
Is that hashtag ad?
Is that hashtag what?
Ad.
No, right. Hashtag ad. No, it's not. They're not a sponsor of the show. But check them out. Relatively inexpensive. All right. And maybe, depending on how the rest of the week goes, we will go to the game on Sunday.
Maybe.
Those tickets will be easy to come by.
Well, Mom and Dad are going out to dinner Sunday or something.
All right. Well, we don't need them. They can go out to dinner. We're going to go watch. Uber. We can go watch Elite Eight. All right. All right. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. I don't know. I should have gone over all of our brackets. I don't know how many teams I got right. I mean, I guess I can do quickly. I still have Alabama and Creighton. So that's 1 out of the 16. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so that's almost half. That's more than half. Let's see what the Sammooo has. The Sammooo picked College of Charleston to get to the Sweet 16. Although he did pick Furman, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. The Sammooo with the Furman pick.
Yes, I did.
He's got 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm looking at, I'm sorry. 1, 2 is Kansas State. Houston is 3. Xavier in Texas, 4, 5. UConn is 6. He's got 8. So you got half of the Sweet 16. I think about this time, that's not bad.
That's pretty decent.
I got 8. I got 9. You got 8. That's pretty good. All right.
Yeah, knowing all the blue bloods are out. The blue bloods are out of the tournament. Like There's no
Duke,
telling what's going to happen.
Duke is, but and
Oh, yeah,
Kansas
dude.
is. But I mean, UCLA is blue blood at this point in time. Gonzaga's got like a streak of getting to the Sweet 16. They're
Yeah.
blue blood as far as I'm concerned. Michigan State's a blue blood.
Houston?
Alabama, what's that?
Houston?
Not a blue blood, but they're really good, right? They were
They're
just
getting
there in the Final
close.
Four a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and Alabama's been good all season long. Although not a blue blood basketball team, they've been good all season long and made a run to the Elite Eight just a couple years ago. So, all right, that episode went a little bit longer than I thought. All right, good stuff. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you do see it, please share it, like it. We do appreciate it. We will be back to recap the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight next week and look ahead to the Final Four. We may be doing that live from Louisville. So we may be sitting next to each other next week. We'll see what happens this week. All right. Thanks very much, Sammooo. Great job.
Good job, Uncle David.